Pundit at the rate Dr. Ritu Show. And this has been supported by Inocare Life Sciences. So today we have a very special and honorable guest in the show, the teacher of the teacher, Dr. Nandita Palchitkar. We are really very glad to invite you and welcome you to the show. So why this
Thank
show
you.
is important? Why this show is important? Let's first understand that the show is really very unique. The Pundit Show is very unique and it's very special. One, because I think it's a knowledge sharing platform for both the experts as well as the young doctors, whoever are listening to this session. And to us also, because we are also a part of this interactive session. Then there's a perfect mixing and mingling done by Dr. Ritu when it comes to strike the balance between not just the basic questions, but also the advanced questions that are being taken up by her. Yes, and the doctors, whoever are connecting, are not only from India, but doctors across the globe are getting benefited from this show. Moreover, it has covered all the aspects, be it gynecology, obstetrics, sexual wellness, or women's healthcare. With this, I would like Dr. Ritu ma'am to introduce our special guest, the teacher of the teacher, Dr. Nandita Palchikar. Yeah. So over to you, Dr. Ritu ma'am
Yeah,
and Nandita ma'am, both of you.
yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Asmita.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah. So,
You can
friends,
start.
yeah. So, friends, a very good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome to all our friends who have joined from the India and all across the globe, especially the friends who have joined from the Arab countries and the Africa. I got more than 3,000 requests for the Nandita ma'am to get Nandita ma'am again in the Pundit show. So, very, very warm welcome to you, Nandita ma'am.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah. So, friends, before I start, today is a very auspicious day. A very happy Dhanteras to all of you. I am here, Dr. Ritu Santwani, your host, Director, Shamwell Women Clinic, Pune Test Tube Baby Center from Pune. Our today's guest is very, very charismatic, very, very dynamic personality. Our very own, I can say very specifically, our very own Dr. Nandita ma'am. So I all believe that knowledge is always increases by sharing. So this is the purely knowledge sharing platform. The huge success of this program that it is a purely academic. So I think before I we go to the topic, Vaibhav, can I have the ma'am's biography, please? Friends, I am very much privileged to invite the Nandita ma'am here once again. Ma'am has come on the 26th episode, and today we are having the 48th episode of the show. Because for ma'am, I got more than 3,000 plus requests on the Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, emails that they all want to listen to the ma'am on regarding the recurrent pregnancy loss. So here's the biography of the ma'am. Ma'am is MBBS, MD, FCPS, FICOG, and FRCOG too. So, ma'am is director of 12 Bloom IVF centers in India, the president of AMOX and first vice president of ISAR, immediate past president of FOXY 2019 and MOX 2016, vice president of FOXY 2011, won the Economic Time Awards for Inspiring Gynecologist, received Bharat Gaurav Award 2014. Ma'am has started so many programs in the Mumbai to instill the leadership qualities and make them ambassador for the healthy in their community. Ma'am has we all remember in the ma'am's the tenure as a Foxy president, V for Istri, a very, very unique program ma'am has initiated. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, just a second. I'm not able to see what that.
Thank you.
Yeah, most welcome, ma'am. So, ma'am has launched, ma'am is the director of 12 Bloom IVF Center, has more than 25 years of experience in the IVF practice and treated thousands of couples. Ma'am has been a pioneer in the field of infertility in the last 3 decades and introduced various technologies for the first time in our country. Assisted laser hatching, IMSI, embryoscope, egg baking. Ma'am has IVF centers in Leelavati Hospital, Mumbai, Fortis Hospital, Delhi, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Mohali, DY Hospital, Navi Mumbai, and Bangalore too. Yeah, next slide, please. Ma'am has done her post graduation from GMC Mumbai and went to Belgium for the further training. Ma'am is the president of the Mock Society, first vice president of ISAR, immediate past president of FOXY 2019, immediate past president of MOX 2016, past vice president of Ops and Gynec India 2011. Yeah, next, please. Ma'am has given, ma'am, let me finish, ma'am. All want to hear you, ma'am. So many new doctors join every time. Only two more lines I will read, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am has given more than 800 talks, contributed more than 100 chapters and papers, edited 13 books, and delivered more than 60 orations. Ma'am has received so एक मिनट रुको ना पहले वैभव last slide. Yeah, ma'am has received so many numerous awards for the exemplary work in the field of the women's health. So ma'am has started so many programs. Yes, now you can take the next slide, please. Yes. So ma'am has so many felicitations and so many awards. This I'm yes, next. Yeah. So of this, I will read only the few awards. The Economic Time Awards for the Inspiring Gynecologist of India, Doctors Day Award, IMA Empowered Award at Chennai, Femina presents 5th World Women Leadership Congress Awards 2018 for Women Super Achiever Award, received Bharat Gaurav Award. Ma'am is the has got the prestigious Frost and Civilian Breast Practices Award as IVF Service Provider Company of the Year in India 2013. So, ma'am, a very, very warm welcome to you, Nandita ma'am. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Wow, Ritu, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. It's very sweet. This is like family platform for me. So anytime you call me, I will definitely.
So nice of you, ma'am.
And I can
Ma'am,
see Tarini
Yes.
Tarnendra over there. I'm so happy to see her.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Tarini. I'm just
Tarini, ma'am, welcome. Yeah, so many doctors have joined.
Yeah, I know. Lots
Yeah,
of them have joined. I just
Yes.
saw her hand up.
Yes. Ma'am, before we start the show,
Yeah.
ma'am, please give the first some tips to the young budding gynecologist. Because, ma'am, I know I always ask you this question because so many new doctors join every time.
Okay.
Yes.
I think, first of all, if you work very hard, I think
Yeah.
you can achieve everything in life.
Yes.
And if you're
Ma'am,
lucky,
we're not able to see you, ma'am.
oh, you're not able to see me? Okay. Sorry. 1 second. I will just stop the share. Hold on.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So I think the first IVF sutra of my life is work very hard. It's very, very important to work hard. And especially when you found a passion which you're, a line which you're so passionate about. Like IVF is my passion. And I just enjoy working over there. And, there's something which I wish to tell you, which I learned from my father. He said that if you love what you're doing, if you love your work, then the more you do, the more energy you get. So definitely you cannot ever be tired with your work. So I think if you keep that concept in mind, you'll really enjoy your life, you'll enjoy your work, and everything will fall in place together. And I think ethics and clarity of values is very, very important because, uh, you know, the practice that we do deals with life and death. So being ethical is extremely important, and it's human life that we're dealing with. And once you have clarity of values, then you know where you're going to reach and you can do it beautifully. And one quality which all of us must have, I must tell you of this incident which happened when I was studying MBBS. My mother was seen by a very senior gynecologist, and she was just done a PSPB examination, and they told us she's got cancer. We were completely devastated, Then, of course, we went to the another gynecologist, and she did a biopsy and everything, and it was not cancer. That time I realized that empathy is so important. Put yourself in your patient's shoes and think of what will happen to her if you deliver these kind of news. You cannot tell a patient unless you're confident 100% of your diagnosis. So empathy is very, very important, and I think that is something that the younger generation should imbibe, and you'll become wonderful doctors, and you'll have less medical legal complications also. When you communicate with your patient and you explain to them and you treat them as your own relative. So I think that's a good way to do. Of course, if you're in America, medical legal is a way of making money. So the best doctor gets sued because he has the maximum insurance.
True.
But I think in our countries yet we have a very good patient-doctor relationship, and I think all these qualities will help you have a very good relationship. Okay, Ritu.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, I have to ask you so many questions, but I will ask after the presentation. So, friends, as all of you have requested me that with the Nandita ma'am, we are going to discuss regarding this recurrent pregnancy loss. So, ma'am is going to discuss today a very, very important topic regarding this mystery of RPL. So,
Yeah,
ma'am, stage is yours. Over
thank
to you,
you.
ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share the screen.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
hold on, but I've reduced it, right? Can you see my
Ma'am,
screen?
yes, ma'am. Before you start, ma'am, some doctors have joined from Nigeria. I am getting on my Facebook. All
Yeah.
are welcoming you and saying hello to you. Huh, huh.
Thank you. Thank you. It's such a
Yeah,
pleasure to meet.
yeah.
Okay,
Huh.
today, Ritu, you're going to have to call me again because today I'm going to talk about genetics. It's not possible to cover the whole RPL in one go.
Sure,
Okay, so
ma'am. Sure.
today
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to talk about RPL and reproductive genetics, and then some other time, maybe a month later or 2 months later, we can talk about other things.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this was a very beautiful article. It's pretty old. It's, I think, 2012 article, but it gives very beautifully the suspected cause of recurrent pregnancy loss, like cytogenetic, yeah, APL syndrome, anatomic causes, hormonal or metabolic causes, infectious diseases, male factors, psychological, alloimmune, environmental, occupational, or personal habits. Now, all these actually are things that you rule out when you are doing recurrent pregnancy loss. Remember, infections is not torch. We don't do torch anymore. So it's very, very important for you to understand that you don't do torch anymore. But bacterial vaginosis, endocervical infections, etc., can cause these problems. And so let me, because you want me to give an overview, I will just talk about it on this slide. So if this APL syndrome, what we do is we give LMWH and aspirin. If it's an anatomical cause, I would treat it surgically or put in a stitch. And the Shirodkar stitch, the Indian, modification of the McDonald stitch, the Shirodkar stitch really works very well in a lot of patients. Okay, then hormonal or metabolic like diabetes, thyroid, prolactin can definitely should be corrected in these patients. Infectious, as I mentioned before, bacterial vaginosis, endocervical infections, they should all be treated. In fact, nowadays, in recurrent implantation failure, we take lessons from IVF, remember that. In recurrent implantation failure, there's chronic endometritis, which you can diagnose on hysteroscopy. Even treating the patient for 15 to 20 days with doxycycline really helps. So treating these kind of infections is very, very important. Remember, torch can cause sporadic pregnancy losses, but not recurrent pregnancy losses. The male factor, the DNA fragmentation, has definitely been correlated with increased pregnancy loss. And treating these with antioxidants be really good in these patients. So, male factor also needs to be considered. Then, psychological, there are no tests actually, and there's nothing really mentioned about it. Psycho, then alloimmune. Alloimmune, there are different tests available, but they are not proven. So when we cannot find a cause, we go ahead and treat as an alloimmune cause. So for alloimmune, you have two types of treatments. One is immunomodulatory and one is immunosuppression. Immunosuppression, you can use steroids. For immunomodulation, we use this intralipids, GCSF, those can be used. And environmental or occupational or personal habits like smoking, drugs, etc., you can obviously tell them to stop it. And environmental, try and take away the exposure to that pollution. So, this is what is an overview of recurrent pregnancy loss. I would really like to focus on genetics. And genetics is something which is very important. Whenever you do a genetic evaluation of sporadic abortions, nearly 50 to 70% of them have a genetic abnormality. And the most common cause of spontaneous abortions is trisomies for 13, 14, 15, 16, 21, and 22, followed by monosomy of the X chromosome. This mechanism of natural selection might also operate during pre-implantation embryogenesis with a progressive loss of abnormal embryos at specific stages in early development through the developmental arrest and degeneration of abnormal embryos. So what is it? Because there's so much genetic abnormality in our embryos when the reproduction is very faulty in humans, because we all survive for 70 years, 80 years. So the fertility rate is much lower, and because these embryos are abnormal, there is a higher abortion rate. Now, if you look at idiopathic recurrent miscarriage, if you find absolutely no cause, it is usually caused by abnormal embryos. And in these patients, this is a very old study of 2012 that current PGS results with array CGH indicate a significant decrease in miscarriage rate of idiopathic RPL patients and high pregnancy rates. Furthermore, this suggests that idiopathic recurrent miscarriage is mostly caused by chromosomal abnormalities in embryos. And today we are doing PGS and idiopathic recurrent miscarriages, and we are getting good results in these patients. So if you want to treat these patients of recurrent abortions, we would advise them to do pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. That is, before we put these embryos, before they get pregnant, the embryos should be tested. So how will you do that? So you'd ask them to do IVF, or rather ask them to do ICSI, create the embryos, and then these are genetically tested. So the way to prevent an abortion is to put a genetically normal embryo into the uterus. So genetic testing, I would just like to give you an overview so that you understand the genetic testing. Today, with the new NGS, that's the next gen sequencing platform, there are 3 types of genetic testing. PGT-A is aneuploidy. Aneuploidy means numerical abnormalities. PGT-M is monogenic disorders. And PGT-SR is structural rearrangements. So I'll just explain these to you. So if you look at PGT-M, I don't know, one sec, hold on. I think it's on a different, I've talked about it separately. So let's go to the PGT, pre-implantation genetic testing. You can do a biopsy on polar bodies of the polar body, so you can find out if that oocyte is normal. You can do a single blastomere biopsy, that is day 3 or day 3 embryo. And you can do 5 to 10 cells when you do a trophectoderm biopsy at a blastocyst stage. Right now, trophectoderm biopsy has become the most common methodology. As I said before, 5 to 10 cells are derived from the trophectoderm, which give rise to the placenta, are taken. Inner cell mass biopsy is not done. So chances of mosaicism is possible. This is a very beautiful article. It's a ACOG, American Journal, American College of OBGYN Committee Opinion, March 2020. It's a beautiful article by Susan Klugman. You must read it if all those youngsters who are giving exams. So in NGS platform, which is the latest platform, what happens is actually this the DNA, it's broken into, the cell DNA is completely isolated. They just kind of isolate the DNA. And then that sequence which you want to study, you attach stabilizers. And then that particular sequence, millions of copies are made. So automated library preparation. Then there is high throughput sequences. And this system also minimizes manual sample handling because it's all automated. It's a short and cost-effective protocol. So once you get millions of copies, then these copies are bar-coded. So that supposing Nandita's one, Ritu's one, Tarani's one, they're all bar-coded as mine is Nandita. And then they're all mixed together, and the NGS can actually read 100 reports together. So that is what the whole system is. Now, what is PGTM? Let's understand the three different categories. M is monogenic disorders. So, like what? Single gene disorders like Fragile X syndrome, cystic fibrosis, Huntington disease. Now, these are patients who will have infertility and who you don't want to transmit it to the progeny. So, you do pre-genetic testing, but this patient gives a family history, so you know the diagnosis before, and then you create a probe for that Fragile X or for cystic fibrosis or for Huntington's. So these are either autosomal dominant or recessive or X-linked. Now, the hereditary cancer syndromes like breast cancer, BRCA1, BRCA2, then Lynch syndrome, etc., these are autosomal dominant. So, what happens in autosomal dominant? If I'm carrying it and if I have a child, I will pass it on to that child. So, we should, especially those girls who have had BRCA1, BRCA2 genetic mutations in them, when they have a child, they should do PGTM so that you can identify the embryos with this mutation and not use those embryos, so that you don't pass it on to the next generation. Then also, we were one patient had approached me where one of the patients had thalassemia major child. He wanted to have another child who would be able to donate the bone marrow to this sick child. So HLA, the HLA compatible embryo can be created by doing PGTM. So this is the use of PGTM. And PGT-SR is what? The structural chromosomal abnormalities like translocations, inversions, deletions, insertions, balanced, unbalanced. Again, these are what? They are familial. They are the parents have these chromosomal abnormalities and they pass it on to the child. So again, we know what it is and we look for it. So family history again comes in here, and SR is used for those families where there is a family history. And this translocations in the parents, you can just do a simple karyotype and you can identify it. You don't need to do the high-end genetic testing for the parents to identify SR. Okay, PGTA is the one which we're talking about, aneuploidies. Most of the idiopathic recurrent pregnancy loss is because of aneuploidies of the embryos. And that is why what we do is we study all the 46 chromosomes. And you can actually, with this NGS platform, you can actually know whether there is a triploidy or a diploidy. The only, the problem is when there are three sets of chromosomes, uh, this NGS system is more superior to microarray in diagnosing triploidy. But trisomies, monosomies are very well identified by the NGS. And you have to actually look very carefully for the triploidy, etc. And in all the patients, when we do PGT M or PGT-SR, we tell them that we have to do chorion villus sampling or amniocentesis to see that this defect has not occurred in the child. So even if you have done pre-implantation genetic testing, prenatal testing is very, very important. Mosaicism means what? That two or more cell populations of different chromosomal complements are present, and that causes a problem. And there are this is the diagram which I wanted to show you. Like the first embryo is showing the blue cells are normal cells. So when you take a bioderm, you're getting only blue cells, which is normal. But your whole inner cell mass, you can see that ICM is red, that is aneuploid. So you're getting a false negative report. And the other embryo, the trophectoderm, where you're taking a biopsy, is all aneuploid cells. They are red colored. So they are the abnormal cells, and the rest of the embryo is all normal. So you get a false positive embryo. So mosaicism is a problem in PGT, and that should be, it is creating a problem. But what we are now doing is something very fantastic. It's known as non-invasive chromosomal screening. About 100 to 150 centers all over the world are now practicing this. The proof of this concept was shown in 2016, and that time the concordance rate was hardly 2.4%. But today, the concordance rate between the biopsy and this non-invasive is nearly 75 to 85%. So it's a beautiful technology because you're not touching the embryo, you're not biopsying the embryo, you're not damaging the embryo, you don't need any skill for embryo biopsy. So if you look at the diagram closely, there's a oocyte, ICSI is performed, and then it's kept in culture media. It's in a droplet of 10 microliters of fluid. And once you have a blastocyst, you take out the blastocyst and you freeze it and you label it. And this 5 microliters of culture medium is taken and frozen. Now, this is the medium which contains the cell-free DNA. And the cell-free DNA is subjected to Malbec. Means what? It's a whole genome amplification by multiple annealing and looping back amplification cycles. The short form is Malbec. So this is a new system which creates the genome ready to be analyzed. And then after the Malbec, the library preparation is the same as I told you before for NGS. And NGS can give a result. So what is important is with this non-invasive method, the Malbec system can be used only on the NGS platform. So you need the NGS platform for this Malbec system. So completely non-invasive, only the media in which the blastocyst has grown for 5 days is actually taken. We do it even in day 3 to day 5 and we use that media. So it's a fantastic system. The advantages of non-invasive chromosomal screening is that it's non-invasive, it's easy to perform, no sample loss, high sensitivity, it's very flexible, and artificial intelligence is also used in these. Now, this is our comparison. We did some 90 embryos and we did biopsies as well as NICS, and our concordance rate was nearly about 80%. And we have transferred in 14 patients, and we've had a 50% pregnancy rate with 1 abortion. So our preliminary results, all patients ranging from 2 failures to 7 failures, pregnancies are 15 and miscarriages 2 out of 15. And let me tell you about this patient who had thalassemia major. She was from Nigeria and she came for secondary infertility and she had had previous abortions. Now these blastocysts were then sent for testing, and you can see out of these 3, 1 is normal, 2 are thalassemia major, then another 1 normal, and thalassemia minor and normal. So 3 normal, 1 minor, and 2 abnormal is what we got. And we did transfer, and first FET was negative. Second FET, we put 2 blastocysts which were positive, and I think she delivered twins. So that was a patient of thalassemia. Then sickle cell anemia, similarly, we did PGT, M for them, and she had. She also conceived with the embryo, and she delivered at preterm birth at 32 weeks, but everything is fine, and 4 months follow-up of the child is absolutely normal. This is a very, very interesting case, which is my final case. It's on reproductive genetics. She was 32 years, married for 7 years, a history of 3 natural conceptions, all 3 abortions, and only 1 abortion showed an abnormal fetus. Then 2 IUIs, 1 fresh IVF failed. So we offered her ICSI with PGD, surrogacy, OD, but she wanted to use her own eggs. So we did ICSI with PGD, we decided. So her, AMH was very, very low. So we got 2 embryos, and third cycle gave no embryos at all. So we had 4 embryos. We decided to keep them for blastocysts because we wanted to do PGD. But they completely arrested at day 4. We could not do PGD at all. Then I was at a loss what to do for this patient. So then after husband karyotype and wife karyotype, the recurrent pregnancy loss genomic panel. The husband was absolutely negative, no problems at all. 144 genes were studied and nothing was the problem. The wife had a problem that she had, an FSH variant and a thromboplast, I think factor 13A variant. And so we realized that she needed FSH polymorphism, so she needed a high dose, and also her immunological panel came positive. Now there are genes which help us identify these patients, so they told us please give her immunotherapy. So we did ICSI for her again. We used a very high dose of FSH. We got the embryos. I did, and then we did transfer, and she got the embryos. But remember, we gave her GCSF, we gave her intralipids, and we gave her LMWH as well as aspirin to continue. And she delivered twins this, I think, in October. So this is what it's all about. And I thought I will just share these cases and talk today only about genetics. So thank you, Ritu. And I hope it was interesting.
Yes,
Hello.
yes.
Hello. Hello, Dr. Nandita.
Yes. Hi, Tarini.
Happy Dhanteras.
Thank
And
you.
it was excellent and untouched part of the RPL I've ever heard. I am really fan of you. It was excellent. Excellent. And I congratulate Dr. Ritu for her housewarming for today. Congratulations. It was an auspicious day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Love you. And Ritu, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a nice lecture. Ma'am, there is one question. Ma'am, your opinion in these cases regarding the use of the embryo glue?
I didn't think there would be questions. This is such a,
Ma'am, this is my question. This is my question.
Embryo glue, we did try it initially, but I found that the retention of the embryos in the catheter was a lot. Okay. So I am not using it, though I don't know about abhi latest kya hai. I've not come across any studies on embryo glue in the latest journals as such. But I found that the embryos came back. It's very thick, viscous. So I think it just was a little difficult to use.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Dr. Nandita looking as usual gorgeous.
Yes,
I think I changed your hairstyle.
Thoda sa badli kiya.
Yes.
It's suiting like anything.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
So nice. You refreshed my evening. Dr. Ritu, congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Tarni, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Maja aa gaya. I refreshed my evening. Maja aa gaya. Wonderful to meet you and Dr. Nandita.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Vaibhav, can you please check any questions via YouTube and Facebook? I am only able to see all the appreciations.
It's a very tough topic, no, for juniors. But I hope I was clear.
Yes, ma'am. Very, very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, meanwhile, this technical support is checking for this online questions because ma'am, YouTube questions I'm not able to see directly. He's checking.
I think Surya Kumari and Kanagaraj have put their hands. I don't know what that means.
Yes, ma'am. They are all saying very nice appreciation.
Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Devi has joined from Andhra Pradesh. She's saying very nice lecture. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. But I think genetics is there now, it's, in fact, I personally would love to do genetics as soon as the patient came to me for infertility. Because it's giving so much insight into what we can do, very personalized treatment can be done, Ritu. But of course, the cost is so high. So you cannot tell every patient ki go do genetics, because I feel genetics will shorten the time to pregnancy if we get an insight into the patient.
True.
But then I'm dealing with very complicated cases, so the genetics is really helping me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm able to see only the appreciations, no
Okay,
questions, lot of appreciations. So thank you so much, ma'am, from the bottom of my
Next
heart,
time we
ma'am.
will do this.
Ma'am
That
always
other
accept. Ma'am always accept my invitation on a single call. So thank you so much, ma'am. And I all means this time it because for the two shows, means for the Dr. Pai sir show and Dr. Nandita ma'am show, I got so many requests from all the doctors. Ki please call them for these topics. So I'm very much privileged that both of them has accepted my invitation. So, ma'am, thank you once again, ma'am. I want to
I love your
felicitate.
Pandit show.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so, ma'am. I would like to felicitate you. I'm not able whether you are able to see or this.
I can see.
Yes, for being in the show. So, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for enlightening all of us.
Thank
Uh,
you, Ritu. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. So, ma'am, I think we will wind up with this because as there are no questions, ma'am, there is one more. Only appreciations. I'm getting lot of appreciations. Yes, yes,
It's a very tough topic, no, now. So
yeah.
it's not a simple topic.
True, ma'am. True, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. So we will
Thank
wind up.
you.
Yeah. We will wind up here. So thank you, friends, and bye bye. Good night and happy Diwali to all of you.
Happy Diwali.
Happy. Bye. Thank you, InnovaCare Life Sciences too.
Yeah, thank you, Asmita. Thank you, Invocare.
Yeah.
Okay, and Zoom was good. So
Yes.
it was
Thank
good.
you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
And thanks
From last
both of
time,
you.
this is very good. Na? Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I was able to, we have an ease with the Zoom platform.
True.
Okay, bye, girls.
Thank you,
Bye,
both
ma'am.
of
Bye,
you.
ma'am.
Yeah, bye bye.
Hope to meet you in person soon, ma'am, and have a one selfie with you.
Yes.
That is the dream of every foxy to have a selfie with ma'am.
It's a dream to have a selfie with you, Ritu.
Wow, ma'am. Wow. GK will be very happy wherever the GK will be there ना मेरे मुंह से निकल ही जाता है मैं क्या करूँ GK will be very happy to see you again in my show. Yeah.
Miss you. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
God,
Thank you. Yeah.
Happy Diwali
Happy
and bye
Diwali.
bye.
Bye,
Bye
ma'am.
bye.
Bye, Tani, ma'am.
Bye bye. Bye, Dr. Nandita.
Bye.